This video is about helping you find forces. Every force can be written the following way: the blank force on the blank by the blank. The first blank is the type of force. The second blank is the object that is feeling the force. And the third blank is the agent exerting the force. For example, the gravitational force on the ball by the earth, or the tension force on the box by the rope, or the contact force on the book by the desk. In each case, there's an agent that is exerting the force, there's a type of force, and an object that is feeling the force. The agent and the object must both be physical things you can touch. Concepts or ideas or other motion parameters cannot be objects or agents. If you're trying to find one of those, think about, can you touch it? Because an agent and an object must be a physical thing. Unless gravity, agent and object must be in physical contact for there to be forces between them. Now that's just for mechanics. In the previous video on forces, we talked about the difference between long-range forces and those that are not long-range. So if you don't have a long-range force, the agent and the object must be in physical contact. And in mechanics, only gravity is the long-range force. For example, let's say a person throws a ball into the air. And while it's in the air, we want to look at the forces on the ball. Let's assume there's no air resistance. Does gravity exert a force on the ball? It does. What about the force of the throw? Is it acting on the ball? Not anymore. The hand is not in physical contact with the ball. Certainly it exerted a force when it threw it, but after it left the hand, there is no more contact force between the person and the ball because they are no longer in contact. What about the force of the motion of the ball? It's moving. Again, no. Motion is a concept. It's not a physical object, and so it can't be an agent. What about the acceleration? That's the same thing. There are no forces associated with motion and acceleration. These are not agents. They are not physical objects you can touch. So the only force acting on the ball while it's in the air is gravity. To help you out is to draw a box. Once you've chosen the object on which you want to find all the forces, draw a picture and then draw a box around that object. The only forces acting on the object are gravity and anything with an agent that, in your drawing, passes through that box. In this example, we have Alice who's exerting a force on a winch. This winch is exerting a force on a rope, which provides a tension, which is exerting a force on an elevator and accelerating it upward. Inside the elevator's exerting a force on a table. Table is exerting a force on a box, and on a box is Bob. And so the question is, what are all the forces on Bob? And to answer that, we might draw a line around Bob, and we find that there are only two forces. There's the force of gravity, and there's the contact force of the box on Bob, because the box is the only agent in physical contact with Bob. It is the only physical thing that is crossing the boundary in contact with the object. And so this technique can help you weed through all the possible forces so you can identify all the correct forces for your problem.